Good morning all. I'm going to try and run through auto-enrolment and how I can help you with my experiences over the last 3 years. It's been a big learning curve as far as software goes and our outsourcing department goes. We have a large outsourcing as well. So as you can see, I've worked in payroll for 10 years, operations manager now at QTAC. We do payroll software and payroll outsourcing. I'm going to run through what is auto-enrolment. Some of you are probably aware of what it is, and it may be that you're even doing it for some of your clients. Auto-enrolment so far, some little facts about auto-enrolment. Your role as an accountant, being prepared is probably one of the key ones. A little reality check, creating a service. There's some useful stuff in here, like a roadmap that we use in our payroll department. Be aware of a few things, which is something that Accounting Web are trying to get out to all accountants out there. And so just some helpful tools and hints here. I'm around for the rest of the day. There probably are a lot of questions out there, and probably a lot of confusing questions out there as well, to how you can help your clients. Just come up and see me, it's fine. I'll give you my business cards. You're welcome to communicate with me at any time whatsoever. So auto-enrolment, basically in 2012, workplace pensions came out, whereas every employer has to put their employees into an auto-enrolment scheme. It came out in size bands, so the big Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer's, that were the first to launch, problematically. They are daunting. They may not even be on your priority list, but it is worth thinking about in plenty of time. It started, they said, 18 months in advance. I don't believe that to be true, but I would say at least a year in advance you need to have something in place. So it's arranged by every employer. It's in a way for employees to save for retirement. I'll sort of go into this a little bit later on. And all companies are required to offer their employees a pension scheme. And as you'll see later on again, everyone, as in the employer, has to contribute into it a minimum amount, and the employee as well. So if a company has had a pension scheme, they need to check that it qualifies. This is quite important. There's a lot of people that we're finding that have had a pension scheme and they think that's good enough. It's not. You have to ensure that it qualifies. In most cases, the government are also topping this up with a form of tax relief. And again, I'll go into this a little bit later on. Employees who qualify for auto-enrolment can opt out. There's this thing of opting out and opting in. It's all to do with what the job holder is, whether they're entitled or automatically enrolled. Again, I'll go through it a little bit further on. And this is basically the opting in part. So when you get to certain bands, you're not opted in automatically, but you can opt in. At certain stages, you opt in and the employer has to pay a value, or they opt in and just the employer pays a value. It's a pension scheme. Okay, so you need to be automatically enrolled if you are aged between 22 and state pension age, earn more than £10,000 a year, that's this tax year's limits, and you work in the UK. As I mentioned before, your clients are responsible for ensuring they have a compliant pension scheme in place, and obviously I'm sure that a lot of them will come to you for advice. So what's the reason for auto-enrolment? Well, the main reason is that the average lifespan has increased. 2001, there were 10 workers to every one pensioner. So obviously people weren't living as long, whereas it's predicted in 2050, there will be 2 workers for every one pensioner. As you can see, the pension pot for when I retire, there won't be enough there to actually pay the pensions out, so that's why automatic enrolment. Now we're going to go the right way here. So automatic enrolment, this is the job holders part. It falls into 3 categories, basically entitled worker, eligible job holders, and non-eligible job holders. So if you earn less than £5,772, you're an entitled worker. If you're between the 5,772 and 10,000, then you're referred to as a non-eligible job holder. And then the over 10,000 mark, between 22 and state pension age, is referred to as an eligible job holder. There are other options that you have here between certain ages where you have the right to opt in as well. It all does get a little bit confusing, unfortunately, with these kind of things. So the eligible job holder, the employer must automatically enrol and make contributions. If using postponement, provide notification to the eligible job holder, process any opt-out notices, automatically re-enroll approximately every 3 years and keep records for the whole process. For a non-eligible job holder, the employer must arrange a pension scheme membership, and if they want to opt in, make those contributions as well. Provide information about the right to opt in unless using postponement. And if you use postponement, then they must provide notification to the non-eligible job holders. And then again, keep records. If you're an entitled worker, you still have to arrange a pension scheme, but if they decide to join, only the employee makes a contribution. So contributions, basically these are the amount both the employee and the employer will contribute into the pension pot. This is one set of contribution levels. It's called qualifying earnings, and it's between a certain band. But from 2012 to 2017, the pot is 2%. It's 1% employee, 1% employer. But when I say it's 1% employee, 1% employer, actually the employer can actually pay the 2%, so there's a minimum contribution of 2%. From October 2017 to October 2018, we've got 3 and 2. So we've got 2% from the employer, 3% from the employee. And then finally in 2018, we've got a whopping 8%, which is 3% from the employer, and 5% from the employee. As I said before, this can be made up by tax relief. Through payroll it's done, and it's either done as a net pay arrangement or relief at source. It's a kind of a weird thing, but come and see me about it if you want to know a little bit more about it. It's a complicated one to explain. I've only got half an hour, unfortunately. So far, it's been with us now for 2 years. October 2012 was when it was launched. 30,000 larger businesses have passed their staging date. That's 30,000. If we look at what's going to happen in quarter 4 of 2015-16, 110,000 smaller businesses just in that quarter. So you can see that we haven't actually even started yet. So little facts about AE. All employers have a legal duty to automatically enrol their staff. We've already gone through that. Failure to comply could lead with financial penalties, starting with a fixed penalty of £400 and escalating up to £10,000. This is not a scare tactic. I'm not here to scare you at all. I'm here to make it, well, hopefully try and make it a little bit easier for you. But these fines are what they're saying. They are even saying a jail sentence, which I hate, but they are saying that as well. From Pensions World, March 2000, 50,000 small employers per month on average will auto-enrol between 2015 and 2018. That's a lot of employees. As you can see here now, this is where we are now. So this is in thousands of employers, and this is what happens all the way up to quarter 2016, 17. So it's like right in the Pyrenees. So research by the pension regulator says that 58% of small employers and 74% of micro employers would turn to their accountants. Sounds good, doesn't it? So they're going to turn to you if they haven't already. Turning away isn't an option. Obviously, clients are all important. So how can you help them out? A lot of accountants obviously can't give the financial advice about the pensioners. We've been saying, as a payroll provider, we say, well, with our payroll department, what we do is we have sort of banding. So, for instance, if you go with NES, this is how much it's going to cost you. If you go with NOW, this is how much it's going to cost you. We don't actually say that NES is better because of this, NOW is better because of this. So it's good to know about what's available out there. They'll probably need help with the tax implications, or maybe gauging how it's going to affect their businesses. For instance, when it gets to the 3%, they may want to know how much that's actually going to cost them as a company, whether they need to freeze pay rises or make cutbacks somewhere. With this, with people that have got cleaning contracts and things like that, we've had a lot of them through us where they've already signed up for a certain amount, and because they got paid 3% in 2018, they're actually not making a great deal of money because of it. Know your client staging dates. This is the key piece of information. It's basically when they stage for automatic enrolment. You can do this by going to the pension regulator's website. and with their PAYE references, typing it into the calculator there, and that will give you their staging dates. Understanding the workforce. So what kind of level of involvement that they will need to take on. Their duties as an employer as well for each type of worker that they have. And communicating the changes to the workers. There's a range of information out there. There's a lot of stuff in the pension regulator that you can actually get off again. So there's letters that you can give to your clients. I've got packs that I can give to you. I'm going to give some packs out today in a case that I've got next door, which you're welcome to email me and forward on to your clients. They may ask you to assist in a number of ways about the actual pension scheme, or you may know IFAs that can help them. So reviewing their pension arrangement, their current pension arrangements, choosing a good scheme for them, the enrolment and management of the scheme, so the continued management of the scheme. You need to look at your business processes, so your software. So for instance, your payroll software, which is quite convenient with us, but obviously with payroll software you need to have certain things within that. Now if you are going to be automatically enrolling soon your clients, if you do payroll for them, you're going to need to have certain things within the software. So you're going to need to have the assessment part of things, you're going to need to have the communication part of things, and you're also going to need the communication that goes to the pension provider as well within your payroll software. This is just another little illustration I've got. This is 2012 when it first launched, and the amount sort of SMEs, or sorry, employers that staged. 2014 is now. These are the kind of pension providers that are available now. These are the kind of payrolls that would be cost effective for now. 2015-16, we see around 300,000 employers in total over those 2 years. You can see that the pension providers are going to decrease. They're definitely going to decrease. We've been talking to lots of pension providers. There will be others that turn up though, so there will be others that come into the game, definitely. These three here, the Nest Now and Peoples, they're in it for the long haul that we can see. So they're going to be the ones that, well obviously Nest has to be, that's the government funded one, sorry, I should have said that. Nest has to be in there for the whole. Any employer can have a Nest scheme. Now and Peoples are the ones that are there with them at the moment saying that we will go the whole haul. Scottish and Standard, they're going to keep in until this, mainly because of the Federation of Small Businesses as well. Scottish, I believe, that are doing those. As far as payroll providers, you're still going to have most of the payroll providers for it. And then come 2017-18, we've got a whopping 720,000 employers that are going to be staging. You're not going to see the pension providers there. You're not going to see any IFAs really that are going to do it for much neither. They're not going to have the time. There aren't that many FIs in the country. And then you're just going to have these three players here, Peoples, Nest and Now. As far as the payroll providers go, you'll still have the more expensive one there, but they just won't be cost effective. So you're going to be needing a smaller payroll provider for these. So creating a service. This is all important. It depends on whether you do the payroll for your clients, or it depends whether you outsource your payroll for your clients, but you still need to know what you can offer. It's not all about charging your clients extra money. It's about trying to simplify the process really for yourselves and for your clients and make it easy. But I mean, I'll give you some useful hints here. Who would do the employee assessment? Basically, every single employer within the payroll system needs to be assessed, and that basically makes them entitled, eligible, non-eligible. Who creates and distributes the employee letters? Again, if you do it through the payroll software, do it through HR software, or the pension provider would do it. And then you need to interface with the pension provider software as well. This is the long haul. This is the hardest part, in my opinion, at the moment, because there's so many different pension providers out there that the communication is in a CSV spreadsheet type that you upload into the pension provider's portal. It's laborious. It's very laborious. This will change with the smaller ones. They're building APIs so that it will run smoothly with the software through to the pension providers. So as soon as we get to, hopefully, 2016, that will have simplified. I can't promise anything, but I hope it will. And with this here, once you've chosen a pension scheme for your client, or your client's chosen a pension scheme, to run it through as a service, you really only need a piece of payroll software that does it, in my opinion, as long as you've got the management there. So the software, the payroll software to do the assessment is the easiest part. If you have the pension provider doing the assessment side of things, what you have to do is you run the payroll, you send it up to the pension provider, you wait for the pension provider to come back to you with who's eligible, who's not, who's opted out, who's opted in. Change the payroll again, run it again, close the payroll, then communicate with the pension provider. If the payroll software does the assessment, then you just run the payroll, and it does it all for you. So it will assess who's what, because obviously it's got all the information it needs to know, ages, salaries, etc. Distribution of letters. Again, if you're running payroll for your clients, don't do it yourself. There are pension providers out there that do it for you. So just get the pension provider to do it for you. It makes it a lot easier, the service is a lot easier. Some of these letters are 6 pages long. So if you're going to have to be posting these out to clients individually, if that's what they want, you're obviously going to have to charge your end users a lot more. And it's a lot more work on your behalf as well. As I say, with the pension provider part for the uplift of employers' contributions, unfortunately, you can either get your client to do that and send him the relevant file, or you can do that as a service for him. At the moment, it's, as I say, it is the most laborious part because you have to play around with CSV exports and they're all different formats. But this will improve, definitely will improve. We've been speaking with the big players and they are building APIs. So we had Nest in last week and they've got a new technical director in and they will be doing that API for 2016-17. We have a timeline here. Now, this timeline is only for you to help. It's for you to look at. So it's really, there's a list of things that you need to do, and there's the time frames that you need to do it in. I'm not going to run through it all, but Tony or somebody from ICPA can send you the slides. I'm sure that they can do that, and you can keep this for your records to have a look at. But really, it just gives you what you need to do for your clients if you're running the payroll for them, and what time frames that you need to do them in. There's a little roadmap that we use within our payroll department, which once they've run through it, basically do you have a pension scheme? If it's a yes, then who are the pension providers? What type of scheme is it? How will the AU scheme work? Will you postpone? No, yes. Will you do the employee communications? It's a good way of running through with your clients, well, as simply as you can in any case. So you're welcome to use that kind of stuff. Also, as mentioned earlier, and they're coming along later, Accounting Web. Now, Accounting Web are doing a big launch because they realise that accountants aren't up to speed with auto-enrolment because they don't need to be, a lot of them now, but they're saying that you do need to prepare. So what they've done is they've given us 8 points. So they're saying every employer in the UK will be affected by auto-enrolment. So even those paying a salary to a spouse, we need to consider their situation. I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to talk to me about that one.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
Very quick one.
Yep.
Would that be a director, a spouse director?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it will. I mean, there's things probably that I can't say out loud, like when I've been speaking to people, but come and see me about it and we'll have a little chat.
A long line.
It's not saying that. It's just
we are filming this time.
I know. We can cut that bit. The director's cut. When I say that, they say there's legal requirements at the moment. So, for instance, they say that you have to give communications. For instance, if you were giving your wife a letter, for instance, who's going to check up, that's the kind of thing that I mean. So you can simplify the process. Also, I would imagine when that time comes, 2017, 2018, the rules will have changed from what we can see. There's no way that they can do everything that they're doing now for 720,000 employers over the 2 years. It just wouldn't work. So it's going to have to streamline it, it's going to have to change. And they are aware of it. It's just whether Mr. Webb allows it.
Simon, just quickly go back onto the staging dates.
Of course.
You were saying there that basically everybody's going to go on doing 17, 18.
A lot of people are, yes. Yep.
If you could just flick back there, because you've got another tranche coming up on the 2 years in between.
Yep.
What are the thresholds for
Well, currently, up to April, it's 50 employees or over.
So 50
And then-
up to April.
Well,
15.
what it is, it goes from the amount of employees that were in the payroll from April 2012.
Right.
So if you had 250 people in 2012 but now only have 30 or 10 or whatever, you've had a bit of a decrease. Your staging date would still have been last year. So it's done on the amount of employees that you had in 2012. Up to April 2015, it's 50 employees
Right.
or greater. Then it's all the SMEs, basically what we class as SMEs under 50 employees. It runs down to April 2017 is 10 and under. I've got a pamphlet which gives you more information on that. So,
Thank you.
all right. So yeah, this is the accounting web thing. So employers, if no one in the pension scheme doesn't escape, they still have to perform some administration tasks, which is a real pain. For instance, if you know that you've got some non-eligible job holders, you still have to set a pension scheme up because they may want to opt in.
What about if we get small groups of companies that have 4 or 5 companies, which all some of them not doing very much, each one require their own scheme, or can they be groups?
When you say group, do you mean group of the same client, or do you mean
Common ownership.
they still have to set them up, unfortunately.
Individually. If it's in a group structure, then it would be the parent.
Yep. Employers will need to keep records for up to 6 years.
Sorry, what's the pay reference period? Is that every week or every month?
It depends. Yeah, it depends on what the client's pay frequency is.
Right, so if someone's been paid weekly,
Yeah.
pay rate, even though no one's joined at the moment, you have to assess it.
You have to assess your staff every time you run the payroll.
Okay. Really? Not every year? No.
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. Sorry. Employees have a preset deadline to get ready. Every employer must be compliant by their staging date. That's a lot of work. There is a lot of work required prior to staging dates. Again, it's not for one to worry. I keep saying it's a lot of work, but it's not one to worry. If you've got a mass amount of clients, then there is a little bit of preparation that you have to do, definitely. And it's better to get it done earlier and be prepared for it. If you have IFAs that you talk with, have a chat with them, see if they'll give any kind of free advice.
You ain't going to see an IFA. You won't see one.
Some of them do give free advice until a certain point. Stage of preparation, it does affect for years to come, so obviously you need to look at the right decisions for those. And hefty fines or even this prison thing, which they're talking about if you don't comply. There is a lot to think about when your clients due to begin, so choosing a pension scheme, when the employers enrol, linking it with your payroll system and communicating with their employers. So some helpful tools, there are lots of helpful tools. Accounting Web has got lots on there. The pensions regulator obviously need to have lots on there, but there's lots of information that you can get to give to your clients. So there's an interactive tool that obviously gives your staging dates, and you can do that in bulk if you have lots of PAYEs. There's leaflets there that you can communicate to your clients, so you can print them off or email them through the pension regulator's website, and there's also lots of guidance there as well. As I say, it's a touchy subject. I'm around all day, so come and see me about anything at all. And I mean this from free advice that I can give. I will give you it whenever. As part of ICPA, you can ring me, you can do whatever you want to. It's absolutely fine, even if you don't use the software. So I'll give you my business cards, and if you need any advice at all, then obviously come through to me. We do webinars, that nasty word webinars, but we do webinars every Tuesday and Thursday. You're more than welcome to come. If you just go to the QTAC website, you can sign up there. They're all free. We also do seminars as well. We work closely with a lot of ISAs, but Chase de Vere do a pensions one, just pensions alone, on the Tuesdays. So it's a good one to just listen to see what's out there, see what the pension schemes are offering. That's me. Any questions for now?
Can I just ask? Can I ask a question?
Push cap.
So I just want to make sure everyone, if you've not written it down or you forget, whatever, if you just ring us at ICPA, we can always get you in contact with Simon at any time. And as I say, QTAC been long time supporters of the ICPA, so if you are considering changing your software or whatever, do remember that you get, I think it's a whopping 25% discount, isn't it?
It's 25%.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, the software
as
is the software is ready. It's automatically enrollment ready, so there are no concerns as in to have you got this, have you got that. It will do the assessment, it will do the communications, and it will also do the other communications as well. And we're working very closely with all the key players, pension providers, to try and get these APIs. They're not their end, so we can't put them in the software or our end, unfortunately. So there is no payroll software that will link directly with the pension providers at the moment, which is a pain, but it will happen, it will come.
You're convinced that it will come. We've got to have this common interface, haven't we? Because if we have to come out of the payroll software to then go into another, that's when all the costs escalate, isn't it? Have they got that across?
As a payroll department, it's the bit that's taking the time at the moment, because we've got over 500 clients, and from those 500 clients, we've got 70 that have stayed so far, and they're all in different pension providers. But we as a service are offering to do the whole service because it's a service. So we have to run the payroll, do all the communication stuff to the employees, which takes time. And then we need to open up a portal, which is either People's Pension Now, export a file from the software, uplift it into the portal. Sometimes it kicks back out and says, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Go back, amend it, go back in. So it's there's definitely time for that. It will happen. We know that now we're definitely doing it. We know that people are definitely doing it. We know that Nest are definitely doing it. Now we've done a client upload already, so it'll uplift all the information from the payroll software, as in their name, addresses, which is great. That saves you time, but it won't do the communication side, as in the employers and employees' contributions.
Sorry, I don't know whether you're about to help with this one, but what's going to happen with all the people that currently use the government payroll scheme?
You mean the government, the
online tools to
it's
process
not
their
going to work. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. And they've told us that it's not going to work. There's 300.
The sincerity in the unfortunately.
Well, it is an unfortunate thing, definitely. I think it is because there's 350,000 users of the revenue PAYE toolkit, and as it currently stands, it's not going to work.
When do you think they're going to be made aware of the fact that it's not going to work and they're not going to comply with all this legislation?
That's not one for me, unfortunately. It's not. It won't work. I mean, you can't do any export from the software, so it's going to have no communication side. You're obviously not going to be able to do the letters, so you could get the pension provider to do the letters that way. It's not going to do the assessment neither. So it can't match anything, unfortunately, that you need to do for auto enrolment. So at the moment, what it is, it won't work.
So when do you think someone's going to tell them that?
Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't work for the revenue. So we do liaise with the revenue, and we have been told that it won't do it. That's as much as I know so far. If they're going to change it and do another toolkit, possibly. I mean, it's going to be null and void if they don't do something.